Good afternoon and welcome to another webinar Simply Mail Solutions have been doing over the past year. Today we're going to be discussing Business Voice and what Business Voice is. This is a revisit session. We did do one similar last year, which discussed similar what we're going to be talking about today. But let's get started with today's webinar. So we always start with here at SMS. Apologies if you've heard this before from us, but we're just basically here to inform our customers of all areas of the cloud services we provide. We are here to help all our end customers, new and existing, and where possible try and provide free of charge solutions to assist you doing your work or your role within the business that you're working in. So let's just move on to the actual webinar itself. So what is Business Voice? So Business Voice is a cloud-based solution that offers a phone service as part of the Office 365 or Microsoft 365 suite. It's designed for small and medium-sized businesses, and it enables you to receive, make, transfer calls from landlines and mobile phones over a normal, how you would normally do it on a normal landline over a public switch telephone network. So it effectively will replace your PBX or your public branch exchange inside your office to a cloud-based one. So instead of having the box in the corner of the office, that's replaced and is moved into the cloud, where you can then have your numbers and users set up within the 365 system itself. You can have up to 300 seats on the Business Voice service, and it also comes with the phone system itself, domestic calling plan and audio conferencing, and there is optional add-ons that you can get for things like international calling services such as that, basically. So what sort of features does Business Voice offer? Well, Business Voice offers hundreds of different features, more than I can go into today, but these are some of the ones that I'm going to briefly go through with what it can do. So basically it will offer local and international numbers. So if you've got a business that's based in London, you can have a London number. You can have and so you've got an office in New York, you could have a New York number. You can, if you're only based in the UK but you want to have several numbers around the world to make you look more global, that is possible. It offers things like call queues, so you can set up a call queue that will be distributed to several users. So say you've got a business that has a help desk and you want to be able to distribute calls to that particular people, say there's 5 of them in that team. The service will allow you to create a queue that will basically allow you to distribute them calls. It also does call handling as well, which means that you can have hold music, things such as that basically as well. You get full caller ID, which will show the number. As long as the number has been broadcasted from the other side, it will actually show you the number on the screen, on the phone, or in Teams, or in actual whichever application you're using, such as the Teams app on your phone. You can do holiday scheduling. So if your business closed down for Christmas, as some still do, you can set it for a week to say we're not going to be in, go through to voicemail. Like I say, it offers a full voicemail service, which is cloud based. You can still ring emergency services such as 999. That will still work fine. You can also do things like call parking and forwarding. So if you want a call to be parked, if you ring a specific user, for example, and you want that call to be parked, you can do that. You can also forward it on to another number or another person. Like say you've got music on hold, which goes similar to the call queues. You can actually add your own music. Now we recommend obviously the music that you add would have to be copyright free unless you've got the permission of the copyright holder to actually add that music. But you can get free copyrighted free music from places like Creative Commons, or if you've got your own music that that you hold the copyright for, then that's fine. Or you can just use the default one that's built into Teams. You can also block people as well. So if you get nuisance calls, there is a facility to block people. The IVR feature is more on the enterprise solution of the voice service. So if you wanted a full-featured IVR, then that would be something you'd have to have on the enterprise solution, which does offer that facility. As I say, you can get domestic and international calling plans, and you can also do toll-free dialing. So you've got an 0800 number you want to ring, that will work fine as well. And finally, it offers audio conferencing. There's some of the features that you get with Business Voice. There is plenty of others as well. and there's more being added regularly on a month-by-month basis. Sometimes it's not on a month-by-month basis. Sometimes it takes a couple of months, but they're always enhancing the features that are available within the actual Teams service itself, and obviously the voice service as well. So one of the questions that people are going to ask is, once you buy the service, which the service, by the way, is only available on certain Office 365 plans. So it's plans such as like Office 365 Business Standard, for example. You can get it, you can add it onto that, and it's per user. So if you have 10 users, you'd have to have 10 business voice licenses as well. But one of the questions that people will ask is, well, how do you assign a phone number to it? Well, that's very simple. And obviously our support team are here to help you with this if you have any problems. But basically all you would do is you'd go to the Office 365 portal. Inside there's an option for admin. You go into admin. From admin, there's a section for admin centers. One of the options in there is for Teams. You would go into Teams. And then basically what you would do then is you would go into the voice section menu, because there's the menu down the side, left-hand side. You'd go into the voice, then phone numbers, and then you would effectively assign a number. Now, in order to assign a number, you need to order that number first. So you'd basically go through an ordering process, which is included in the plan. You'd pick your geographical area where you want the number to be, or if you want it to be a toll number. And then once that number's been ordered, it will be available to assign to the users that are in the system. So basically, that will then allow you to assign that number. You do need to specify an emergency location. This is purely so the emergency services can locate you, and the information it asks for is usually the address, and it asks for the longitude and latitude of the location where you are, and that's purely so the emergency services can find you in the event of an emergency. But that's basically how you would assign a number. But as I mentioned earlier, if you do have problems with this, then contact our support team either via phone or via a ticket, and then we can help you with that and assist with that further. So what call answering options are available? So this is probably one of the key things that people do ask about. So this is basically how the call is handled when someone makes a phone call. So basically, this is effectively affects things like call agents and groups. So basically, when someone rings your business, you want to know what it's doing, how that call is going to be handled. So basically, what you can do is you can set up call answering options to effectively do what it's going to do with the call. So basically, you can set this up to allow things like attendant routing or serial routing or round robin. You can also do things like how long you want the phone to ring for. Say, you want it to ring for 20 rings, for example. How long you want, or do you want it just to time out? So eventually it rings, say, 30 times and then it times out. You can get it so it's distributed to users. Or individuals. It doesn't have to be a group, but you can add up to 20 individual agents to per group on there. So effectively how it will work is the calls will be routed first to an individual agents and then against the groups, basically. But there's a lot of options with inside call answering options that you can configure, and like I say, there's like delay times and how long it's going to be idle for, and if you want it to, if it rings 30 times, for example, do you want it to either just completely time out or go to voicemail or be passed on to another number? So there is a lot of advanced options in there that you can specify, and this is really down to your own requirement on what you want it to do with the way calls are actually handled. But if you need to discuss it with one of our support team, then we are here to assist you on that, and we can advise you on what you can basically do. We just have to take some information from you basically in order just to ascertain what you want to actually do with the way calls are basically being handled. So one of the other options on here, as well as having geographical numbers such as like 01925, for example, or 0161, you basically have what's known as toll numbers. Now, toll numbers come in two formats. They come in free toll numbers and like a pre-rate toll number. So, for example, 0800 is a free phone number. 0845 is usually like a low rate call. So effectively, you can add similar numbers to these, but in order to actually do them on Teams and Business Voice, you need what's known as a communication credit. And all that basically is, it's a bit like pay and go, for example, on a mobile network. So you effectively prepay for communication credits, and effectively, when you have these in your account, if someone has an 0800 number, this is purely really for only for 0800 numbers and 0300 numbers, but basically you have to cover the cost of that call because it's not free. It's free to the person ringing, but it's obviously not free to the business. So you basically have what's known as communication credits, and what they do is they pay for the cost of the call on a pay and go principle, basically. So you can buy these through your online portal. Now, currently, Microsoft only allows the end customer to buy these communication credits. Unfortunately, at the minute you can't actually buy them from us directly, so you have to buy them through your online portal. We can assist and tell you where to do that. It's very simple. It's just a case of going into your portal and it's under billing, and there's an option to do that within products that allows you to purchase these communication credits on your account. And once you have them in there, when people ring the 0800 number, it effectively just takes the however minutes they spend, takes it away from the calling credits. So that's basically how that would work. And we do have several people that do use this as a service, and it works flawlessly without any issues at all. So we're going to move on to admin now, and what sort of admin options are available within Teams and within Business Voice itself. So one of the admin options in there is a thing called call policies. Now, people are probably wondering what a call policy is. Effectively, all that is a set of permissions, effectively, on what you want it to do. So, for example, you can control how a call is handled, or how it's forwarded, or determine whether you can make private calls, or how it's going to ring, if it's going to simultaneously ring. It's just a set of sort of parameters, I suppose is the best way to call it, on what it can do. And these policies can be assigned as a global level or as an individual level. So, for example, I have one on mine which allows me to use the latest version of Teams, which is basically effectively like a preview version. You can do things like that, which basically allows you to get the latest update and the rest of the business doesn't. For example, that's like an example what you can do with a policy. But you can also do for a specific company, they may want to say, right, well, we want to ban all our users from making private calls because they shouldn't be making private calls. So you can set a policy to prevent that from happening. You can also, like I say, prevent it from ringing things like external numbers. You might have a system where you only want, and I've seen this myself in my working career, where you're only allowed to ring internal people, and you don't want people to ring externally. So you can actually set up a system on this policy which will say you're not allowed to make any external calls. You can only ring internally. And like you say, it can be org wide or it can be individually based as well. But there's a lot of options within policies that you can set to limit what people can do. Like you say, you can ban, like I mentioned, you can ban outbound calls. There's a vast list of things that you can do within the actual policy itself, and a lot of businesses are starting to use this now, and they want to limit what the end user can do, obviously to prevent any additional costs. Because, for example, someone could be ringing another country and it's it's £2, £3, £4 a minute for example, and you don't want to get a big bill. So that's one other thing that you can do with call policies. You can limit what numbers can be rang, basically. So let's say another option within admin is call queues, which I briefly mentioned earlier. This is more of the admin side. But what you can do with call queues is basically when someone rings your business on the main number, what do you want them to be presented with? So you can be presented with a greeting message. You can be presented with music while people are waiting to hold. And like I said earlier, as long as you have the copyright for this, or it's free copy, or it's copyright free, then you can use that. And there is a facility to upload them files within the actual admin portal itself. You can redirect calls to agents with mail-enabled distribution lists, for example, and security groups. You can set the maximum queue size to how many people you want to be able to ring in. So say you only want to have 5 people, so if someone rings your company and you want 5 people to be able to be on hold, then you can actually do things like that on it. You can set the timeout on it, so you can set the how long you want it to ring, as I previously mentioned. The IVR options are something that is available on enterprise plans. You can offer things like shared voicemails to callers, so they can leave a message for the whole organisation, not just the individual. And the one thing that you do need in order to use a call queue is a thing called a virtual user mailbox. This is free of charge. You basically add it via the portal under billing. We can give you full guidance on how to do that. Well, once that virtual user license mailbox is in place, you can create queues. It's just a requirement in order to allow call queuing to work, because effectively the way it works is when you create a queue, you have to create a group, and the group needs like a virtual license in order for it to function, in order for it to work correctly. So one of the other things that people will say, well, I've got my business voice license, I've got I've got some numbers set up, but I've got a number that I've had for 10 years and I want to keep it, and it's with BT and I want to transfer it. Can I do that? And that is a question that we do get asked quite a lot. So basically, you can move the majority of numbers over. There will be some caveats on which numbers which can't be transferred in. But the best thing to do is obviously check with us first. But the process is fairly straightforward. We can actually order the transfer for you, but we'll need to take some information from you, such as the phone number. They sometimes will ask for things like account numbers, who it's currently with, the address of the business, that kind of thing. We can fill the form in for you. If there's any issues with it, then we'll obviously contact you to tell you that. And typically, it roughly takes between 7 to 14 days. However, we would always advise our customers it can take up to 30 days. So I would preempt 30-day window for the transfer to go through. Goes through sooner than that, then it's your quid's in. If it doesn't, it could take up to 30 days. If there was an issue with it though and it took longer than that, then obviously we would be in touch to let you know that. But numbers can be transferred in, but it's best to check with us first, because there is some providers that aren't able to transfer into Teams. People such as BT and things are fine. I've done a couple of them myself, and they have gone through fine without any issues. So just to move on to some questions now that we typically get asked, and basically people will say, often ask us, well, I've got this Teams license, but what devices can it actually be? Does it work on? You know, can I use it on a normal like phone on my desk, for example? So the answer is you can use it on pretty much all platforms. Windows, Apple, iOS, Android. I believe there will be Linux support coming soon as well, and you can use it on desk phones, but it has to be Teams approved phones. And the link on screen will show you the phones that are available, but we can provide this link and we can provide you the devices that are compatible with the voice service if on request, basically. But there is several handsets that are compatible that will fully function with the Teams and Business Voice service. So can Teams be enabled with call center functionality? So this is usually where you get a wallboard and extensive reporting, where you can actually report on what your staff is answering, and you can see call statistics such as how long they're waiting, if like callbacks are required, that kind of thing. Unfortunately, this time there's no native support for call center functionality. However, there is third-party companies out there that do provide it, but at the moment, Microsoft hasn't issued the APIs that will allow it to function at the moment. It is coming though, and once that is available, there is third parties that you can go to get this. Microsoft, I reckon personally, will probably bring something out, but that's not guaranteed, and that's not me saying it's definitely going to happen. But it's something that I would imagine in the course of the next few months to the next few years, it's something they will probably look at implementing. But at the moment, there's no news that is going to happen for definite, and there's no time frame when that would happen either. One of the other things is, so how can I get Business Voice if I've not already got it? Well, you can call our sales team and they'll be helpful to assist with purchasing the Business Voice licenses for you. One of the other things is you do need to be on a specific plan. It's like business standard and higher that you can actually add this. license to, and then basically that will allow you to then function the phone system. But once the license is assigned, we just need to make you aware it can take 4 hours for it to be provisioned. Due to the ongoing issue with COVID over the last 12 months, Microsoft has been taking a bit longer to provision Teams and Business Voice licenses on the accounts. So they are advising it can take up to 4 hours. But once that's live, you shouldn't have any problems going into the admin portal on Teams and enabling things such as the phone numbers and the queues and things like that, and assigning it in general, basically. So how do we fit in? So how does SMS fit in? So SMS has been helping people since 2006. I myself has been here since, well, I've been here for 11 years. And through the course of that time, we've had a range of customers from small to large. We are here to be, a true everything in the cloud provider. We don't just provide Office 365. I mean, that's our core product that we sell. We sell obviously add-ons to that, but we do sell other services such as domain names, web hosting, backup services, and other security solutions that you may need for your business. We are fully UK based, and during the COVID pandemic, we have been working from home remotely. We are available on the phones Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. You can email, you can open a ticket, with the support team 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and someone will come back to you with any queries that you have on that. If you need to contact the sales team, they can be contacted on 01925 818448, and support can be contacted on 01925 818252. And like I say, we are here to assist with any issues or queries that you have. No question is a stupid question. We are here to help with any issues that you may encounter. So that wraps up today's webinar on Business Voice Revisited. I would like to thank you very much for watching. Our numbers are again on screen, and obviously our web address. And for more content and updates, if you visit our YouTube channel, smstv.simplyms.com, that will take you to our main YouTube channel, where you can find other videos that you may find informative on other products that we've been doing over the last year. Once again, thank you very much for watching. My name has been Martin, and I hope to speak to you soon.